Welcome to the Once Upon an Island podcast. My name is Wesley Wood, and I'll be your host today. And I'm joined today by my wife, Mary. How are you doing, Mary?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing quite well. Thank you for asking. We're recording this a week away from Survivor. So we're pretty in the loop on the pregame stuff. And by that, I mean we haven't listened to interviews because I don't want our opinions to be tainted by other people's podcasts. But I'll probably listen to those later after I do this. I want our opinions to be pure, people, pure. So this is the 39th season. How many seasons of Survivor have you watched?
I don't even know.
You don't even know?
Several.
Guesstimate.
25 maybe?
Out of the 39, okay. Mary's more casual.
I would just say a more recent fan.
Versus more seasoned?
No, more recent.
Recent?
Recent. I never watched one season.
Oh, recent. I thought you said reasoned.
No, I'm a more
recent
fan.
In comparison to me.
In comparison to you, yes.
Wow. I've watched all 38. Because I can't, let's say 39. I've watched Island of the Isles before anybody else. Even Jeff Probst hasn't seen all the episodes, but I have. No, I've seen all 38 seasons. We're currently rewatching 29. Mostly because Mary's never seen it, but also I have never finished it. The only season I never finished is 29.
Why did you never finish?
I got pretty far in. I got distracted. I'm pretty sure I was watching at the same time we were watching, I want to say David versus Goliath.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, which was a great season. But that's not what we're talking about today. Today we're talking about Island of the Idols. So we're going to walk through what we've been told on the TV, through commercials, and they've posted a couple of videos on YouTube. I have heard inside information. It's publicly available now, but stuff people don't know because they haven't watched yet about how the Island of the Idols is going to work. And we'll talk about the cast. Okay, so season 39, we've been told that there's going to be a twist. It's not just your basic Survivor. And I feel like every season there's a twist now.
Yeah, it's not Survivor if there's not a twist.
Yeah, it used to be the opposite. It used to be it's not Survivor if there is a twist, but now it's not Survivor if there isn't a twist. And this season's twist, they're bringing back Boston Rob and Sandra.
Woohoo!
Oh, you're woohooing?
Woohooing Boston Rob.
Wow.
I like Boston Rob.
Yeah, because Boston Rob's seasons where he does well is just so entertaining.
He's a good player.
Redemption Island.
I respect his gameplay.
I respect his gameplay, but it makes for a boring TV. But it doesn't matter. This season, him and Sandra aren't playing. They're just coaches.
Mm-hmm. Mentors.
Survivor, Island of the Coaches. Island of the Mentors. No, it's Island of the Idols. Play on words. They love their little play on words.
Mm-hmm.
Though Ghost Island didn't have any actual ghostes.
Ghosts.
Yeah. Ghosts.
That
Ghosts
we know of.
Yeah, that we know. Is that how Wendell won? There was a ghost helping him?
No.
And its name was Laurel. All right. So the twist, as just mentioned, is the coaches, Rob and Sandra. What do you think about them bringing back Rob and Sandra as coaches?
Well, I woohooed, so.
Well, you wooed Boston Rob. You didn't woo Sandra. You didn't woo the idea.
I do like Sandra. I think the idea is interesting. I think a lot of players get out there and they have an idea of what they want to do. And then the game starts and emotions get high and people get tired and it is hard to think, or it seems to be like it's hard to think good strategy. So I think this could be interesting.
Wouldn't you say this is unfair, though, to a season like David versus Goliath or Ghost Island or almost every other season where there's no returnees there to help people? Isn't that unfair that Boston Rob and Sandra, and they're not helping everybody. I don't think all 20 castaways are going to the island.
Maybe it's like a reward where you win a reward to see Boston Rob or Sandra or something.
Almost sounds like an Exile Island punishment.
Well, it's not a punishment.
No, I know it's not punishment. It's definitely. I wonder exactly how. Yeah, I wonder how people get selected. We'll have to see. Word on the street is that it will be random or something like that. Maybe the tribes will designate one member to go. I'm not 100% positive yet.
I don't know.
You know, you'll be like, all right, everyone vote for the one castaway for something secretive or something secretive. You know, sometimes they do that. Like in Blood versus Water, where each tribe voted for.
Yeah, but in one of the teasers, it says that the cast is going to see them walk out. They're going to see these huge.
When they go to the island of idols, they're going to see them walk out. Yeah, so it's going to be like you're going to walk down the beach, and then there's going to be these giant statues of their.
Well, sure, the first time will be secretive, but then after that, obviously.
Yeah, Survivor likes to pretend like people are going to go back to camp and not talk about.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I can't tell you about Ghost Island, because that's a great plan. Just don't tell them about the thing you went to. That'll make them not suspicious at all of you. No, of course, the first person who goes there is going to come back and be like, hey, guys, it's this thing, and you do this there. And then people are going to be like, oh, okay. And then all the hype behind it will go away.
So back to your original question, you said, is this fair to other seasons?
Sure. Other castaways of other seasons. You said...
Yeah. I didn't really answer that, but I don't think fairness has anything to do with it. First of all, Survivor does do these twists all the time. So, I mean, is it fair that they're not doing a twist from another season? I don't know. That made the game easier. But this was my main point is even though Rob and Sandra are there offering advice, it's up to the players to decide to do the thing. I mean, people can be so... Well, I have my idea. They don't know what's going on. I'm just going to do it. Because there have been other returning players that were actually in the game that tried to help other players, you know, and people don't always listen to them.
Well, I mean, like, if you're a returning player, though, you're not going to tell everyone, like, you know, here's what I would do in your situation because you're playing against them. But in this case,
no, but they still benefit from that person being in the game.
And B. Rob and Sandra aren't going to play against these players, so they're not concerned about them using their techniques.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so I have the answer to this, so I can't answer what I think it would be. But what do you think is going to happen when one player goes to that island of the idols?
Is that fair that you know and I don't know?
Is it fair? I mean, are you a Survivor producer?
No. Okay.
Okay. Well, what do you think happens? Like, a player goes there, what do you think is going to happen as someone who's not in the loop?
My vague idea is that the player somehow wins or is chosen to go to the island. They get to choose whether they want to talk to Rob or Sandra, and then they will tell them what's going on at camp. And then Rob or Sandra will give them a homework, basically, where there's something that they need to do in order to further their game. And if that person does it, they get some sort of secondary reward. If they don't, they get some sort of, I don't know if they get punishment or not, but they just don't get that.
What would that secondary reward be?
Some sort of advantage in the game, or I don't know.
So you're not completely off base. What has been spoken about it is they only spoke about the first episode. They couldn't speak about other episodes. They can only say what Jeff Probst told them. But in the first episode, apparently, what's going to happen is that a player is going to go there, of course. They're going to meet with Boston Rob and Sandra, not one or the other. And it's not like, oh, who do you want to pick advice from? It's more of you get advice from both. Now, in this case, though, apparently whenever somebody goes to the island, they're going to talk to both of them. I don't know if they're going to pick their brain and get advice. I'm not 100% certain about that, but what I do know is that they're going to... Boston Rob and Sandra is going to have... They have like a curriculum of sorts. So they're going to each week teach somebody a different thing, whether it's social or it's something for a challenge. So they might teach them how to make a fire, maybe the first episode.
Okay.
And then Boston Rob or Sandra or one or the other will actually compete against the player. And if the player beats Boston Rob or Sandra, however this works, I don't know if it's all three of them, I'm assuming it's just two, beats them in a fire making challenge, then they'll get a flint or they'll get a hidden immunity idol. But if they lose, then the punishment could be like they don't get to vote at tribal.
Okay.
Yeah.
That is interesting.
So it's like, so it's definitely risk reward, but there's no like, it's not like Ghost Island. The thing I didn't like about Ghost Island is you go to Ghost Island, it was, it seemed like 2/3 of the time was like, no game for you today. It's like, well, I'm glad we showed this on TV. Like, why did we even waste our time?
At least there will be always something will be happening.
There's always something, whether it's positive or negative. There's always something that's going to happen to the player. But my top concern with that is that now we're spending, 5-6 minutes of screen time at this camp when there's only 43 minutes of episode. It's not Big Brother. We don't have 3 hours a week to blow.
Yeah.
So yes, it's interesting. And I've seen people online complaining that it's not all new players, but I don't think they know that it is actually all new players. But we'll get to that later. So yeah, that's what's going to happen on the island. Now every week, apparently it's going to be random. It's not every week somebody's getting hit immunity idol. It could be Boston Rob and Sandra teaches them how to do a skill that's actually going to be at the next immunity challenge.
Oh, okay.
So I'm assuming this always happens before an immunity challenge, similar to how Exile Island works in San Juan del Sur, the season we're currently rewatching now. So yeah, that's how that's supposed to work. So I guess that kind of covers our expectation. I mean, okay, so now that you've heard how it's actually work, what do you expect of the season?
I expect
Mary just shrugged her
it
shoulders.
to be interesting.
People can't watch you shrug your shoulders. Do you know that, right?
Yes.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, you expect to be interesting. Okay, so I mean, Edge of Extinction could have been interesting. I think if they spent, I don't know. Edge of Extinction was a whole different kind of game breaking twist, though. They would have spent more time there.
Yeah, that was different. I think this will be good because, like you said, there will always be some sort of action occurring because the castaways go to the island with Rob and Sandra. There will always be something happening. It's not a Ghost Island situation where something may or may not happen. Something's going to happen, whether a good thing or a bad thing, and that's going to affect the player's game.
And it's not like you're always going, and I sure hope it's not like a clean. So, like, Edge of Extinction was an interesting idea in the terms of you could go back to home, quote unquote. You're not really going home, but go back to eating food and living a normal life, or you could go to Extinction Island. But nobody ever picked going and eating food. There was never enough in time. I think they should have like a plate of hamburgers just sitting there saying these are yours if you go, because nobody's ever enticed to leave the game.
Now, do you think it'll be?
So I guess what I was trying to say before you go on is hopefully it's not hopefully Boston Rob and Sandra beat some people is what I'm saying. I hope it's not everybody just cleans them out, cleans house. Boston Rob and Sandra go easy on them.
Well, I don't think
it's in their personality.
Easy on them, no. Yeah. But that doesn't mean they can't be beaten.
Sure.
I don't think Rob was necessarily the best at challenges. He was a really good social.
He's really good at puzzles, is what he was.
He is amazing at puzzles.
And Sandra's really good at telling people off. Yeah. Well, I'm not sure if that's a skill that she can teach, but
no. What I was going to say was, it could be boring if it's the same person going all the time.
Oh my gosh, yeah, like in Gabon when Sugar always went to Exile, but it was just like that was not an Exile, that was like a little shack and a little pond.
The Sugar Shack.
Yeah, the Sugar Shack, and she was always getting apples or whatever. Yeah. I agree. But I think once people find out there is an advantage to be gained there, and it's all, and you're going to be being with Boston Rob and Sandra. It's almost like, I think if it was just the Island of the Idols without Boston Rob and Sandra there, and it was just you go there and you do a challenge, and like Ghost Island similarly, I don't think people would be as excited to go. Like, oh, you can go and possibly win this thing or possibly get punished. Yeah. But I think there is an enticing part to, you also get to meet Boston Rob and Sandra, who you're not going to meet in your camp, or at the merge, or at Tribal. Yeah. You can only see them on that. It's like a once in a lifetime experience, almost how I'd view it. Mm-hmm. So I sure hope there's a good rotation of people going, or someone we're really rooting for going over and over.
Right.
Yeah. Because I imagine, now I wonder when they'll stop doing it. I wonder if they'll do it through
through the merge.
I imagine the finale would have one visit, but is that final 6, that final 5? When do they stop doing it?
Yeah.
No, I think they'll go through the merge. I definitely don't think they're going to stop at the merge. I don't see that happening. I see this being an all-season event, all-season twist.
Yeah, they named the whole season after it, so.
Yeah, I agree. All right, so we have 2 tribes. It's a 2-tribe season. We haven't done 3 tribes in a while. Top of my head, I can't think of the last time we did it. But we're doing 2 tribes this season. One is Laro, and it's orange. And the purple tribe is Vokai, but we'll just call them orange or purple from now on. Well, okay. I mean, we can call them Laro and Vokai if you want. Mary rolled her eyes at me. Keep forgetting this is a audio medium.
Hey, they don't need to know I rolled my eyes at you.
Yeah, well, now they do. It's too late. So we're going to walk through each castmate, what our impressions are of them, et cetera, et cetera. Obviously, there's only so much to be gained from reading what they say in their bios and what they look like in a picture. This is why people make terrible predictions sometimes. Of course, you also don't know how far they're going to get in the game when you make your predictions. You may be rooting from Allison from David vs. Goliath, and she gets 10 confessionals. Things happen. So we're just taking our best guess based on
First impression.
Their bios, yeah, but it's not really that's not really a fair comparison. But also Survivor itself, on Facebook, is already not ruined, but spoiled what the merged tribe color is going to be. Can you take a guess?
Blue.
Wow, you nailed it.
Wow.
It really is blue. Because they posted a picture of Jeff with his hands on his hips, clearly at some challenge, and there's a blue flag behind him.
I mean, does that really spoil anything?
Oh,
it's a blue
yeah. Now I know who
color.
the winner is. Guys, we'll get to that.
Yeah. Okay.
I am not spoiled on the winner. But the color, I think, is a big indication. That means a male's going to
Huge.
win. Whereas if the flag was pink, it would have been a female. That's the kind of Survivor scripted. We don't even have
logic.
to talk about it anymore.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. All right. So our first castaway is Aaron Meredith. He comes from Warwick, Rhode Island. Fun fact about Rhode Island and Survivor is that Richard Hatch comes from Rhode Island.
Good to know.
I know, you just learned that for the first time.
Learn something new every day.
So basically what we're saying is Aaron Meredith's going to win the season, confirmed?
No.
Wow. That's
I
really...
am going to make a prediction that he doesn't last very long.
You really don't... I mean, he looks... Okay, so Aaron Meredith is the prototypical... He's going to make it till the merge because he's going to be good during challenges.
Sure. Yeah.
But it is possible that if he's on a tribe that just loses and loses, that they're going to be like, we're not winning challenges anyways. So, you know, the Orange tribe, Laro there, could decide, hey, he's not much of an asset anyways. And also, he's kind of the first three letters of the asset word. Yeah, it could happen. He says he's kind of like Ozzy, which means Aaron Meredith already views himself as a challenge beast.
Yeah, he says that he already knows he's gonna have a huge target on his back.
Oh
so.
yeah, he says. All right, so he says, why do you think you'll win? They ask, why do you think you'll survive Survivor? And he says, I flat out want this. I have to come in with a strong, all caps on strong, social game because I will have a huge target on my back as a physical threat. I know how to work people, get people to know me, like me, and trust me. If Aaron Meredith played his cards right, he could be like Ben Bergen from Heroes vs. Healers vs. Hustlers. He never had... I don't remember... I feel like I'm going to be ripped apart. I don't remember Ben having any target on his back in the first half of the game when he was in the merge. Now, if Aaron's just saying in general he'll have a target on his back, sure. But Ben didn't have a target on his back that first half because I think he was a physical asset.
I don't know. I remember him being very, very helpful, yeah, but I don't think he was like one of those people that thought, oh, this guy's a challenge beast.
Yeah, but he wasn't holding them back or anything.
No.
Okay. So, Aaron, all right, so let's make a prediction now. Here and now, how far in the game does he get? Is he a first boot, pre-merge? Does he make the jury, or does he make the finale? Is he in the final tribal? How far do you think
I would
he
say
gets?
pre-merge. I'll keep him around for a while for challenges.
So you think he'll be voted up before the merge?
Yeah.
Okay. I think he'll make the merge, but he'll be an early jury spot.
Are we betting on all of these?
Do you want to bet on all of these? I wasn't playing. What's the bet? That's not gonna be interesting for the listeners.
Okay, never mind.
Yeah, what are we gonna bet? Like, you have to buy
Do
me a
the
car
dishes.
with. Oh, yeah. They're gonna. Yeah, people are gonna be like, oh, well, is he gonna do the dishes? Brother. Okay, so the next player is Chelsea Walker. She's also part of the same tribe as Aaron in the Laro tribe. She comes from Los Angeles, though her hometown is in New Jersey. She has the illustrious career of digital content creator. I laugh because that's what I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me tell you.
I did like her. I will say she was one of the few girls that kind of stood out to
she
me.
stood out.
Mm-hmm.
So she said she started applying to show when she was 21. Guess how old she is?
I know how old she is.
You already know?
Yeah.
Oh, she's 26.
Yeah.
So, but she turned 26 in March, which means she was only applying for 4 years.
That's still a long time.
Sure, but it's not like I've been applying since I was 18.
Okay. Yeah, but she also mentions, I'm pretty sure she mentions that she's been watching since she's 8, right?
Did she say that?
This is the girl that's been watching.
Oh, you know what? I don't see that.
Oh, it's a different girl. Sorry.
Mm.
No, it's right there.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Wow. Yep, you're
Yeah.
right. She's watched since she was 8, so she's a
hardcore fan.
She's wait for it, super fan.
Yeah, she's a super fan.
Super fan.
I don't know. She seems like a go-getter, tenacious. I just liked her writing style. I think she expressed herself well.
Her "Why do you think you'll survive Survivor?" says, "I've been underestimated my entire life." Lame. That's so cliche. Who doesn't say that?
Okay.
Who comes on Survivor and says, I've been overestimated my entire life? Everyone in life thinks I'm going to be successful, but I fail at everything I do. I feel like that's just a cliche. So, but, okay, so she says, I've been underestimated my entire life. And the second you tell me I can't do something, I'm going to do my, we're keeping this podcast PG. So she's going to do her darndest to prove everyone wrong. I know what it's like to be at the bottom. Things might not always go my way, but I've learned to push through the challenges and work my way to the top. I'm tenacious, a hard worker, and I don't take anything for granted. Applying to the show for so many years has made me stronger and hungrier to win. I have something to prove, and I will win because I have the passion and desire to do so.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So my confession is I really just liked her because of her pet peeve was about those shoes that are really disgusting right now.
The chunky dad sneakers trend. That's so you're like, I wonder how she will win the show. Oh, she hates chunky dad sneakers. Success. She's gonna sweep it 10-0 at the final tribal.
No, that wasn't the only reason. That was just one reason she stood out to me, and I really did think she was a super fan and that she seemed like she was a go-getter. So
yeah, I mean, she's living in Los Angeles, probably making good money being a digital content creator. She is not out of shape. She looks like she is actually pretty healthy. She's not super skinny. So she'll probably be decent at challenges just based on that. But then again, I don't know. Of course, it's so hard to judge before season. I just don't see anything there that's special. I also don't see anything special with Erin, to be fair. I don't know if I said that. Neither of them really.
I think
stood
she'll
out.
definitely make the merge, probably during.
Gotcha. So,
I mean, that's the same thing, right?
Sure.
So,
What were you saying? I'm sorry.
I said make the merge and
the
probably the
merge.
jury, which is
Chelsea Walker.
Basically the same
How far
thing.
will she get? You're saying she'll make the merge. So you have Erin pre-merge, Chelsea in the merge. I'm going to say Chelsea does not make the merge.
Okay.
Hot take, I know. All right, so our third contestant is Dan, I want to say Spillo, S-P-I-L-O. He hails from Los Angeles. That's two people from Los Angeles now. As a talent manager. Do you think as a talent manager he found Chelsea Walker?
no
Well, it's possible. I mean, he's a talent manager. He's in Los Angeles. Now,
talent manager for movies, right? That has nothing to do with digital media
well,
content.
I'm just saying, do you think she had an in and it was Dan Spillo? So Dan Spillo is 49 years old. Oh, also, we never mentioned Erin's age. Erin's 36. I'm going to try not to mention Erin that much anymore. We've moved on. But 36, 26, and now up to 49. That's no one's in college.
He's 48.
So he's 49 years old, from Los Angeles, talent manager. At first, when you're on the Survivor Wiki, which is where we're looking at this for quick reference, and you see his headshot, you're like, oh, old man. So I don't expect him to be in shape. And then you click on his picture. No, dude's been working out.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude's in shape.
He's been prepping.
But my first red flag looking at his profile is he says, in his pet peeves, trouble dealing with stubborn people. He's going to have to deal with a lot of that on the island.
Yeah.
I hope he has the patience. Because to him, there may be stubborn people everywhere. Whether they're actually being stubborn or not, if they're going against his plans, that's stubborn, right?
Yeah.
For some people.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I know he has a comma, but I just didn't really like. My pet peeve is his.
You know he has a comma?
No. He has a comma after IQ.
Oh.
My pet peeve is like the grammar and things, and I don't think he expressed his ideas about this very well.
Maybe we need to tell people what you're talking about. So he says trouble dealing with stubborn people, but I respect EQ as much as IQ. Ignorance and closed-mindedness. Now, top of my head, what is EQ? I have no idea.
Emotional quotient.
Oh.
So he respects people's emotional intelligence as much as like head intelligence. So people's social games as much as their strategy games.
Yeah. So here's a couple of so I just red flags all over the place. His which Survivor contestant are you most like? He says for social gameplay he's most like Tom Westman and Boston Rob. Now I know you haven't watched Palau with Tom Westman, but you have seen Boston Rob. Both of them, in a sense, dominated / controlled their seasons where they won.
Rob definitely knows how to deal with stubborn people.
But Rob is stubborn.
Yeah, he's just more stubborn.
He's more stubborn, and he does know how to.
I'm saying he doesn't mind stubborn people. He knows how to manage them.
So Dan and B-Rob should probably actually be at odds when they see each other.
Possibly,
because they're both so stubborn. No, I think Boston Rob's probably gotten better with age, but he's saying his social gameplay is most like them, which means he's going to try to control. If he's truly going to play like them, he's going to be the leader. He's going to be in control, and that's usually cause for trouble in the early game. Well, it's actually caused trouble most of the time. Not even in the early game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Being the leader is usually the target.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. But people will be like, "Yo, you're my meat shield." Such a flattering name.
Yeah. I think it depends on how he controls people. So he could make it pre-merge if he's good at controlling people. If not, if he just lets his annoyance at their stubbornness get in his mind, then he's not going to make it very far now.
Yeah. So how far do you think he's going to make it? First boot, pre-merge, post-merge,
Pre-merge.
final tribal.
I'll just take a guess. I mean, it's really hard to tell, but possibly pre-merge.
Huh. Obviously depends on the success of his tribe. Does his tribe and then when the tribe swap happens, the eventual tribe swap, will he survive the tribe swap? I'm gonna say pre-merge.
Okay.
I'm gonna predict pre-merge for him. He only based on how he's coming across in his bio with how he doesn't seem like he'll have a lot of patience. Though I can't wait to be proved wrong when we watch him on the show and he has the most patience out of everybody because he's 49 years old. All right, so our next contestant is Dean Kowalski. He is 28 years old. Well, he was on the island. Hey, he started on the island at 28, but while he was on the show, he turned 29. So maybe he'll be there for his birthday. Who knows? Who knows?
That makes sense.
Well, so he also comes from a large city. He comes from New York City, and he's part of the Laro tribe, the Orange tribe, with Aaron and Chelsea Walker. So we talked about three. We got three of them so far. He is well. What do you think of him so far?
Nothing especially stood out, except that he said that one of his students that he taught was his inspiration, which was kind of a cool story. But I don't know. He just seems kind of like your typical strong guy who's going to do well in challenges.
He definitely looks like he'll do well in challenges. This is a very fit cast so far as we've looked through it. No one really out of shape yet. Now he does. The one thing I do notice that I liked was which Survivor contestant are you most like? He said Wendell for his quiet leadership. Wendell from Ghost Island. That's a very important thing to lead, but not be the target.
Yeah.
Be in control of who's going home, but not being the target. Very important.
Because he is a teacher, and that does come with a lot of social intelligence. If he can implement that he could be really good like Wendell.
Yeah, I agree. So then in his why do you think you'll survive Survivor section, he says, self-awareness is one of the most important leadership characteristics. My social intelligence will allow me to read when to go big and when to fall back. I strongly believe in my ability to get along with and be liked by a variety of different people. This will also allow me to build strong, diverse alliances. Additionally, my athletic and puzzle abilities make me a threat within challenges. My experience working in sales will fuel my persuasion with my alliances. Now, either Dean Kowalski is the perfect man in every aspect, or he may be overestimating his skills in some areas. Though, him saying Wendell's his favorite contestant actually gives me hope that he understands what he needs to do.
I'm going to say he makes it post-merge.
I'm going to say I almost want to say final tribal, but I feel like he would really have to play great to make it through the merge. So I'm going to also say he makes it to the merge, makes it on the jury. But I wouldn't be surprised if he makes it to final tribal based if he really crafts his game like Wendell did. All right, next contestant is Elaine Stott. I think that's how you say it, Stott. She is part of the Laro tribe. Man, Laro is just getting all these. If there was an alphabetical contest, Laro would win. I sure hope that's not like part of one of the contests. Like, Jeff's like, all right, come on in, tribes. And then Jeff's like, all right, well, we didn't have time to really build a challenge. So who has the most people at the top of the alphabet? And everyone's like, what? And Jeff's like, okay, Laro, you win. Woo! That would be a really lame episode of Survivor.
Has not gone down that far yet. so Elaine stood out to me also, but not necessarily in a great way.
I can tell it. She comes from Kentucky.
I come from Kentucky. So
you do.
Yes.
She is wearing camo in her outfit. Now, of course, production does have a say in what you wear, so I won't hold it against people for what they wear. I can't do that. But she is 41. She is from Kentucky. And what were you gonna say?
Oh no, it was just she's gonna be in. I'm gonna mess it up because I can't remember their name, but a
player we're gonna talk about later.
No.
Talking about Chelsea?
No, I can't. Hardcore redneck woman who Says her mind.
Different season.
Yeah.
Do you know which season?
No, I just got her in my mind right now.
Yes.
I know. So you can cut
you
that.
talking about From Heroes versus Steelers versus Hustlers?
I have no idea.
Oh, I bet you if I pulled her
If
up.
I saw a picture of her, she's got really short hair.
Does she
She's a
kinda
hick.
she
Looks
the
like
same?
that, a little chubby.
All right, well, keep talking. I'll look.
So the reason that Elaine stood out to me was, yes, she's from Kentucky. I'm from Kentucky, but she just seems like the stereotypical redneck who's gonna be hardworking, really kind, but doesn't necessarily take any bullcrap or doesn't necessarily know how to strategize that well.
Are you talking about Lauren Rimmer?
Yes, she reminds me
Okay.
of Lauren.
Mary
and
Sa- yeah.
that could be just a quick
Just 'cause
judgment.
they
That's
visually-
not. Yeah, well, it's not just visual. It's definitely just the way she's portrayed herself in her profile. Just
Gotcha.
remind me of Lauren.
Now, she does say her pet peeves are guys who think women aren't their equals, girls who don't think they need to. Girls who do think they need to use their body to get ahead, and people who think they're SHI don't stink. And she said three words to describe you: independent, stubborn, and kind. I mean,
what I liked was that she related herself to Rupert, which everyone really loves Rupert mostly.
I would take that with a grain of salt. I think really the most important things are the stubbornness, and have we really seen a winner who's just like a stubborn jerk to everybody?
No.
I
Never.
top of my head, I can't say.
I mean,
people thought Richard Hatch was a jerk, but he wasn't. I think he was edited to be a jerk, as that'll be on the YouTube channel with the as people may have already seen. I don't think he was actually stubborn and a jerk, but I don't think stubborn jerks, they have a very low likelihood of winning Survivor. 39 days, you'll get on people's nerves.
Yeah.
So
it did. Again, I just connected with her on a personal level with
Sure.
her talking about her grandparents passing away and taking care of them, and I related to that really well too. So
And to be fair,
she's got a soft side.
yeah, and so she could be all talk.
She could
Like,
have no. Yeah.
It could be like the first 3 days she's a jerk, which by the way is enough to get some people voted out. Look at Reem last season, even though I love Reem. If you get on people's nerves and then you lose that first challenge, you could be gone. So I hate to say it, she doesn't look like she'd challenge me. She could be a potential first boot,
She could be.
but that's all dependent on whether her tribe wins or not. So I think if her tribe loses, I think she is on the chopping block to go home. But on the flip side, if she is actually a lot kinder than she has portrayed herself in her profile, she could make it to the merge. So,
Well, there's a difference between kindness and gentleness. Like you
Sure.
can be super kind and not know how to be gentle about it.
so basically, what's your prediction on how far is she getting in this
Not
game?
far.
So
One of
you-
the first, I think.
Oh, you think she's pre-merged for
Yeah.
sure? I think if she can be a physical asset challenge just enough to not hold people back and not annoy people, she'll make it. But based on her profile, I think she's. I want to. I'm gonna say she's a potential first boot. So you think we're gonna go pre-jury, and then I think she's gonna be a potential first boot.
I said first boot.
Oh, you are thinking first boot
Yeah.
as well.
I said she'll be one of the first. Yes.
Well, no. I mean first. Okay, so are you saying just first boot out of her tribe? I can accept that.
Yeah. Sure.
Okay. All right. So we'll wait. Can't wait for us to be wrong on that one as well. All right. The next player, probably gonna struggle with the last name here. Her name's Elizabeth Beasel.
Sure.
Bezel. Beisel.
Just say it with confidence.
Oh, sorry. Her name is Elizabeth Beasel, and if anyone questions me, I will track you down and tell you otherwise. She is also from Rhode Island. You know, for such a small state, we've had 2 players so far. We've had players from Los Angeles, Rhode Island, and New York. Oh, one from Kentucky. What are all these players
They
from
just
Rhode
recruit
Island?
in the same area or something.
I don't know if they're recruiting. They have different casting this season. This is the first season they've had new casting directors. So I don't know how much recruiting was necessarily going on. But she does say, I love classical music and I've played the violin since I was 3 years old. So I'm immediately judging her as a nerd.
Yeah, except she's an Olympic medalist.
Oh, okay. I may have skipped over the good part. Yes, she is an Olympic medalist. She was actually the youngest member of the United States Olympic team in 2008 at 15 years old. So she is already primed and ready to be a good challenge.
Does it say what she was in the Olympics for, though?
That's a great question. So without looking further, So she says, who or what
Swimming.
is your inspiration in life? My best friend Allison. She and I have been to 3 Olympics together. After the 2012 Olympics, where she won 5 medals, she went through a serious post-Olympic depression. Did you know about post-Olympic depression?
No.
Though now that I've
Not
heard
till
it,
this post.
I think I could imagine it. Like,
No.
you train for years to go to the Olympics, and then you get out, and you're like, oh, now what?
Now what's my life worth? Yeah.
Mm.
No, if she down in where it says I just read it. Oh, swimming.
Oh,
What's your
okay.
primary
What's your primary
Yeah.
motivation for being on Survivor? To compete again. I retired from swimming a year ago, and I miss challenging myself and bringing myself to the edge of extinction. I added the last 2 words, but
Yeah.
she does say to the edge. Second reason, $1 million, of course. If you're not there for the $1 million, you're not going to be properly motivated. So she is an Olympic swimmer.
So she should be good at swimming.
Depends on the challenges. Sometimes I would say 80% of the time, there's not challenges don't involve swimming.
I said
Swimming's
so she should be good at swimming.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
did not say so she should be
No.
good at challenges.
but to be fair, if she's an Olympic, it's not a guarantee. But if she's an Olympian, she should be good at challenges. Though Crystal from Gabon proved us wrong on that. I'm going to just throw this out there. I think she makes it to the merge.
I think she can make it pretty far. I think she'll make it post-merge, definitely. She seems smart. She's athletic.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't seem to have any personality, annoying behaviors just from first glance. So
Yeah, I mean, we haven't watched any videos of her, so we can't really say she's not annoying. But
no, sure. I'm just saying.
yeah, I wonder how she'll be when there's just downtime, because if she has post-Olympic depression.
That was her friend. That
I
was
know.
not her.
I understand. But if you read her profile, it comes across like, while she may not have had post-Olympic depression, she definitely suffers from, oh man, I have nothing to do.
Yeah.
So will
that's
she
true.
constantly be like on her toes, looking for idols maybe? Will she be out and about doing things? She's constantly going to be making deals. She doesn't seem like the kind of person who probably will be just sitting back and doing nothing, which is good for TV.
Yeah.
Will it be good for her game? We'll have to find out. So the next contestant is Jack. And once again, I don't know 100% certain, but I'm going to say Jack Nichting. Nichting? Okay. He is part of the Vokai tribe. Finally, we're getting some Vokai members. Vokai for life. I have no idea. I sure hope they're a good tribe now that I said that. His hobbies are CrossFit. Do you love CrossFit?
One of those.
Wow, very judgmental. So he did say that his accomplishment he's most proud of is winning the national championship for his club soccer his senior year of college, and he's 24 years old, so that makes sense. That was a recent accomplishment.
So he's athletic. He's athletic.
And no, he was 23 when he was on the island, and he's from Virginia. He's a graduate student. You always got to have one of those on Survivor. He has longish hair, and but then he compares himself to Devin Pinto. But then he says he's not a ditzy guy. Now, I know Devin wasn't ditzy on the show, but Devin wasn't exactly you remember Devin from Heroes vs. Healers vs. Hustlers? Mary shaking her head no. People can't hear you shake your head.
No, I don't remember.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
sorry.
That's okay. Devin, he made it pretty far. He made it to the finale, but people think he got screwed on that fire-making twist when Ben won.
Oh.
Yep.
Well, all he said was that he was like him in the fact that he was positive.
Yes. I do think he may be overestimating his abilities a little bit he says he can navigate anyone in every social scenario. I don't think that's 100% accurate. I don't think anyone.
He doesn't know at his
Yeah.
age.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think anyone, period, could navigate every social scenario. Now, I'm not to say he hasn't been through a lot of social scenarios or he's not good in general, but as we'll see later, there's like a 59-year-old lady in the cast. Like, can he handle all ages, or is it just like his age range he's really good at? 'Cause some people are really good in their own age range. Some people are good with all ages. I get a vibe that he's probably really good with people around his age group.
Yeah.
So young people he'll be good with. He just says he loves life, and I am just first glance I'm gonna say he's probably right. He has that natural smile going on.
And people that are positive generally make it pretty far in this game.
So he don't know his gameplay. He doesn't really give us much to read into when it comes to his gameplay. So I'm gonna say he makes the merge, unless he does something really dumb. I think he makes the merge. What do you think?
I'm going to go rogue and say he doesn't make merge.
Wow. Hot take. Why doesn't he make the merge?
I'm just thinking he's so confident. Sometimes people can be overconfident.
Mm-hmm.
And sure, he could be really great socially, and if he is, then I'm completely wrong. But some people think they're just so good at their social game.
I don't think that he's overconfident. I just think he doesn't. I think he Okay, so he says he radiates a lot of positivity, and he really leans into that. That is just one aspect. Unless you're Fabio in Nicaragua, that's not going to carry you. I don't think he's under the impression it will. I just think that he knows that's what people like about him, and that's what he's just naturally good at. I mean, so usually people like that don't go. People don't want to vote people they like hanging around with pre-merge. So I completely disagree with you. I think he makes merge.
Well, that's why I said I'm going rogue.
You are going rogue. That is for sure. So our next contestant then is Jamal Shipman. Finally, somebody with a name that is not making me second guess myself. He is on the Vokai tribe as well. He is 34 years old, though I think he may have turned 34 on the island. He's 34 years old. And he is also from the wonderful state of Rhode Island. Wow. Now I'm curious. What is the population of Rhode Island? Because we now have 3 people this season from there. What do you think of Jamal Shipman?
Honestly, he did kind of stand out to me a little bit. I think it's because I saw his picture and I was like, oh, another strong guy. But then reading his profile, that didn't actually stick out to me. He talks about his education. He talks about, his hero was Barack Obama and just political. He never really been political, but now he's learning about that. He's a triathlete, and he was in his choir, he sang in an a cappella group and played in an orchestra. So
sure.
I don't know. It was just like I had a first impression from his picture, and then his profile completely went against that.
So he subverted your expectations.
He did. He subverted my expectations. I think what hit me the most was that he said people will be happy to write my name at the end. And I think that's important because a lot of people just want to make it to the end. They don't think about how people are going to feel about them at the end. So yeah, sure, you can make it to the end, but does everyone hate you?
So he says he's been intensely studying the game. Oh, by the way, to population of Rhode Island, barely over 1 million people. The population of America is 330 million. I feel like Rhode Island gets even Los Angeles.
Advantage.
We have not gotten 3 people from Los Angeles, which is where I expect people to come from.
I guess we'll have to move to Rhode Island.
There must be a recruiter there must be somebody in Rhode Island, because there is 3 people from Rhode Island. Is Rhode Island the most fascinating state in America, Mary?
I wouldn't say so, but I've never been.
Well, you're prejudging.
Yes.
I've never known anyone to do that. So he says he's been intensely studying this game. I feel like I have a good handle on what to do in order to give myself the best shot at making it to the end with enough goodwill to get votes. People will be happy to write my name at the end. That sounds like a very generic answer.
It could be. I just think that it was a little bit different than everyone else's. And also he said he named his 3 favorite people were also some of my 3 favorite people, which is Wendell, Sarah, and Christian. So
I will say that Christian is an amazing player. Not player. I just think Christian the character was amazing. I don't know if Christian was actually that great of a player, but Christian got by on a lot of goodwill and being positive and being back to Jack, the guy we just talked about. Christian and him, where if he would say he's like Christian, he's like, oh, I'm gonna get by, but I think
he doesn't seem like a Christian.
Yeah, there's only one. There's really, at least in the history of Survivor, there's only been one Christian. I can't think of another one. But yes, Wendell is a good one. Officer Sarah from Game Change. I mean, she was in Kaigan, but she won Game Changers. So he picks good people. All 3 different play styles. So that nothing really comes. And he also says Jeremy, who is in San Juan del Sur and Cambodia. None of them. The only 2 who I would say Wendell and Jeremy have similar gameplays in their winning seasons. Spoiler alert for Mary. I don't think Mary even knew Jeremy won a season. You haven't seen Second Chances? Well, Jeremy wins. He doesn't win the one we're rewatching now. I'll tell you that. Spoilers for season 31. Yeah, but yeah, he picks 3 winners, and 2 of them have kind of similar gameplays in their winning seasons. But I don't know. Just nothing really stood out to me except for that he is definitely educated.
Yeah,
is the word I would use. Yeah. So how far do you think Jamal Shipman makes it?
I'm gonna say merge.
I'm gonna say Jamal Shipman actually goes at pre-merge.
Okay.
I think he goes at pre-merge because I can't get a good read on him, and that instantly makes me suspicious of him. If he either A, that means he doesn't know, maybe he doesn't. I mean, for someone who's educated and he's been intensely studying Survivor, I thought he would give answers that reflected that. I didn't really feel like I got that.
Okay.
And he named a bunch of characters from the past like 5 seasons of Survivor, 6 seasons of Survivor. Nothing like I want to play like somebody from. I want to play like Todd Herzog from China or something. So I just don't have a good read on him, and I feel like if that's how he is on the island with his communication with people and in how he just is around people. If he's the same way, like I can't get a good read on him, people will get rid of him because you don't want people like that around. It's unpredictable, and then you don't know if they're with you.
Okay.
I know. Wait, watch him be on the island and be like everyone's best friend.
I mean, yeah, he could subvert all their expectations.
He could. I hope everyone subvert. Well, no. I hope this person's successful. They subvert my expectations. Their first boot. Yeah, that'd be my life. All right. The next player is the obligatory old woman, because we already had our obligatory old man earlier with. I want to say his name was Dan. Oh, I'm already tripping. It was Dan. Good. Oh, see, look at that memory. We now have Janet Carbon. She is 59, 60 years old. She turned 60 in June, so 59 years old. She's from Florida. Wow. I was worried there because I thought she might be from Rhode Island.
I mean, she was born in New Jersey, apparently.
True. It's so close. So close. No, she's from Florida. She's 59 years old. She's on the Vokai tribe. First impressions. What do you have?
First impression is that her biography is probably one of the shortest. She's very...
Easily.
To the point.
Yeah.
And not at all expounding on anything.
Yeah, and so that was the first thing I noticed too. Is her at first I was like, "Wait, what? Did she even answer the questions?" Because it's like, "What's your primary motivation for being on Survivor?" Her whole answer is 6 words: "It's my dream and the money." Great job, Janet. You're really giving us all the information we need.
I feel like she'll be the tough general type personality.
Yeah, unfortunately she is also the older lady, which has a stigma of being weak in challenges, even if she isn't actually weak. Her pet peeves are laziness and being wasteful. She just comes across like the stereotypical older person who, I don't know, it's just not, it's not looking good. I immediately say she is a candidate for first boot, definitely pre-merge.
I would say you'd be right
based on the profile and her age, which is very unfortunate, but that age does have a stigma to it. Being older, you really got to be adequate in challenges and also not be getting on people's nerves. So hopefully Janet can be better than that. She says, now I will give her credit though, she says her favorite player is someone from a pre-Heroes vs. Villains season, Stephanie LaGrossa, who you're not very familiar with. I'm aware. Mary's only seen Heroes vs. Villains. She has not seen Guatemala or Palau with Stephanie LaGrossa. Stephanie was like one of the first boots in Heroes vs. Villains, but Stephanie was the last one remaining from her tribe in Palau, and in Guatemala, I think she got second place to Danny Boatwright. So Stephanie is no scrub, and she was a very strong female.
Well, I'm sure Janet's been watching the show for a long time.
That's what I'm saying. I think Janet has probably been watching the show for a very long time. It's referencing Stephanie, and that's the only player she says she's most like. So she is a fan of the show. I'm not sure if she's a super fan, but she definitely has been watching the show. So that is always a plus. That means she knows how the show works, hopefully.
Should. Yeah.
My dad sometimes thinks the show is about challenges, so I cannot say for it. He's been watching since season 1. So not everyone is keenly aware, but I'm going to give Janet some credit. I'm going to say she's probably knowledgeable about the game, but I'm just
one of the first boots.
She just screams pre-merge.
Yeah.
It's unfair, unfortunate. All right, so our next contestant is Jason Linden. He is a personal injury lawyer from New York City. I don't know why I said what he does, because I haven't said it for anybody else.
I think it's just because it's so much part of his personality. He just seems like a lawyer.
Does he look like he would lie to you? Is that what you're saying?
No, not necessarily. He just seems like a lawyer.
That's very judgmental. How dare you? He's 32. He's from New York City. That's our second person from New York. 3 in Rhode Island, though. Don't forget. Never forget. So I actually... I'll give you first impressions of... you said he just seems like a lawyer. What else do you get from him?
I think he will do well with relationships. I think he has that ability to make friends. I think it could be his downfall if he tries to be too tricky with it. If he tries to have too many alliances, he could get caught. So we'll just see about that, I guess.
Yeah, he has a very interesting profile.
He did have an interesting profile.
Yes, so right out the gate, he started his own firm.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, doesn't say what age he started his own firm at, but regardless, starting your own firm is something not career driven. It's not the right word. He's really, I would say, just driven.
Yeah, he's
maybe
driven.
not career driven, but he's like a very driven person. He is a lawyer. He started his own firm. He does reference. So he references his players he wants to be most like is Stephen Fishback, Adam Klein, Cochran 2.0, not the one who flipped on his tribe, Cochran, but the good at Cochran, Rob Sesternino, and Tony Vlachos. He definitely references a wide variety of different players. So, of course, I have absolutely zero idea how he's going to play or who he's going to craft his game after. A few of those are Smart Alex, and then you got Tony Vlachos. So I not a good read on how he's going to play, but he does seem to have knowledge beyond recent seasons, which tells me he's either A, watched Survivor for a while, or B,
did a lot of
just watched the
studying.
highlighted seasons, because those are all seasons with highlighted players.
No, I thought his profile was interesting. I think he did have, like you said, he's driven. He's definitely he's not going to be lazy. He's going to play, and he's going to play hard.
Mm-hmm.
Whether that ends up being his best asset or his downfall, he's going to go out with a bang, I think.
Well, he really pushes in his why he thinks he'll survive Survivor with building relationships, which is, of course, very important.
Mm-hmm.
Relationships will win you the game, but relationships will not get you to the end necessarily. You can be friends with everybody and not get to the end. So he's gonna have, if he's really more focused on building relationships and he's not a weirdo, that should be really good for him. It's really about strategies. He's also going to have a good strategy unless he's going to be dragged by somebody. He doesn't seem like somebody who's going to be dragged though, based on his another thing he says, and the reason why we say that is because he said, second, I will take control of my game and lead my allies to make favorable decisions to my game. I am a natural leader. And third, I will outwork my competition. I always like hearing that. I will outwork my competition. That means you're constantly going to be looking for idols, working on something. The problem is if you overwork yourself, you get tired, and or you could start doing stupid strategies because you can't just settle on what you've come up with. You're like, this is a good strategy, let's stick with it. People will get bored and start changing it up. So that always a concern, but being a natural leader and taking control of the game, red flags. He doesn't say take control behind the scenes. He says lead my allies.
Lead my allies, not lead my tribe.
I know.
So, yeah. But he also says he's going to use humor and self-depreciation. So that's important to me because it shows that he's going to lead them subvertedly. Like, he's not going to be...
What is he going to do? Self-deprecate? He's not out of shape. What is he going to self-deprecate? Oh, I'm a lawyer, guys. I'm rich.
We don't know what his perks are.
terrible.
Yeah. I'm just saying that if he knows that he can't just be leader, he has to do it through, I'm just the Tony, the Stephen Fishback of the group, Sure, I'm smart, but I'm goofy.
Yeah,
I don't know how he's going to do it, but...
I don't know if we mentioned it, but he's part of the Vokai tribe. So we've gotten a good mix of Vokai so far. They were more in the middle. How far do you think he makes in the game?
I think he makes it pretty far. I'm going to say...
Final Tribal?
I think he makes Final Tribal.
Wow, Mary's calling Final Tribal. I think his want to lead allies. Everyone, in modern Survivor, people... know who the leaders are. It's not like, I don't know who's leading this group of 5 people. No, people identify who the leaders are. So unless this is like a Ghost Island situation where people are just inept and they don't get rid of the leaders, I see him making the merge and then getting kicked out. So I think he makes the merge. I don't think he makes it to Final Tribal like you do, but I could see him making Final Tribal depending on his social game. He's so relationship focused. So our next contestant is Karishma Patel Sandaresara. Oh man, I feel like I'm butchering this. Sandasara?
Karishma Patel Sandasara.
Oh good, I'm glad you knew. Okay, so she is also a personal injury lawyer. I feel like Survivor has some favorites this season.
From Houston.
From Texas, I'll give her that. She is from a different state, but she is also a personal injury lawyer. Different tribe though, she's on Laro, so don't worry, her and the other dude will not be suing each other, hopefully, unless they get the merge. Hey, you injured me. Hey, you injured me.
Okay.
All right. Well, sometimes you gotta make a bad joke. Jason and Kirishima, they won't meet each other till the merge or tribe swap. Who knows? But what was your first impressions of Kirishima?
Only thing I can remember is that she didn't like alligators, so not much, I guess.
Yeah, she is so. So it does. What's super interesting is that so she's 37. She doesn't look 37.
No, she doesn't.
I would say if there was no age here, I would guess she was in her 20s. So she definitely looks in shape, which is always good because you don't want to be just being out of shape immediately makes you target for those pre-tribe
I
merges.
wouldn't necessarily say she looks in shape, but she does look good for her age, for sure.
No, I'd say she's in shape.
Okay.
But 37. Didn't see that coming. Blindsided, I feel like. Now, she does talk about how her parents came here in the 70s with a dream. So she's 37, though. So she was born... She was born in the 80s.
Probably born... yeah, she was born in the 80s. I was saying...
So she was
born in America.
I guess she is native to America is what I'm saying. So... at first, for a second there, I thought maybe was she born maybe outside of America, and
No.
she's like, but I guess I think you have to be American to be on the show. They are accepting Canadians, but we'll get there when we get there. But yeah, she's taken 3 state bar exams and passed them all first try. She studies.
She's smart.
Yep, she studies, and she references a player from San Juan del Sur, Natalie Anderson. We will not spoil what Natalie Anderson does in that season, but she is a pretty good player. But she references Natalie Anderson as her contestant she's most like.
I will say, because we've only watched like 3 episodes.
4.
4 episodes of the season. I do like Natalie. I like her fire and her spirit, but
Yeah.
I don't think Natalie will make it far just because she does have a little too much. She doesn't know how to control her fire. So
you're talking about you're making a prediction for San Juan del Sur?
Well, I'm just saying if she is anything like Natalie, if Karishma is anything like Natalie, scroll back up.
Sure.
Yeah, if Karishma is anything like Natalie, then I don't see her making it too far just because Natalie is so spirited and she speaks her mind, and you can't really ever just speak your mind on Survivor.
You can. You just have to pick your moments to do it in. If you speak your mind in a moment where everyone agrees with you, you're good.
Sure.
Like when Natalie was getting on to John Rocker, not to focus too much on San Juan del Sur, but when she was getting on John Rocker, she was saying something that I think everyone on her tribe agreed with, which is what's most important for her to speak out, is that people aren't like, oh, she's causing a ruckus and she's saying something I don't agree with. It's like, well, she's saying it for me. Glad I didn't have to say it. So
yeah, it just always puts a target on you when you're that outspoken.
If you're vocal, yeah.
So we'll see if she's that outspoken.
So Karishima says she feels like she was born to play this game. She's always craved challenges that help her to learn more about herself, and she knows deep down that she has the physical, mental, and social skills to outlast, outwit, and outplay anyone.
See, that just kind of sounded scripted to me. I just didn't remember any of it.
I think that's in the wrong order, too. It's outwit, outplay, outlast, and she said outlast, outwit, outplay. Can we say she was not a super fan? I'm just joking. But it is the wrong order. I only remember that because Rob Sesternino really hammers that in his podcast. But yeah, I you know what? I'm going to say, brother, how far do you think she gets?
I'm really going to say pre-merge, I think.
You think pre-merge? Mm-hmm. I think Karishima, So I don't get, so she does reference Natalie, and I don't get a really good read. I know she's driven. I know she studies. If she's really good at taking the state bar exam, she's good at passing tests. I would imagine that would put her under pressure taking tests, so she should be good under pressure. I could be wrong, but 3 into 3 different states, yeah. I'm going to say she makes the merge. I don't know if she makes Final Tribal, but I'm going to say she makes the merge. It depends on how much she can control. If she's truly like Natalie, it depends on how much she can control, how outspoken she is.
We'll see.
And whether she causes ripples and waves. All right, so our next contestant is Kelly Kim. She is 29 years old from Philadelphia. Finally, we're moving. We're finally
still in New England.
Well, yeah, but we're not in Rhode Island. That's sometimes what's most important. So she has another profile with very short answers. But go ahead. What do you think of her?
I like that she plays Catan.
Yes.
Not just Catan, but Cities and Night.
Yeah, she's like, I play Settlers of Catan, but not just Settlers of Catan. I play the expansion Cities and Night. Very important.
I think it's Cities and Nights.
Yes. Well, in the profile it says Cities and Night. I think you
know.
might be right. Maybe Cities
nice.
and Nights. She says her pet peeves are people who wake me up while I'm sleeping or trying to talk to me while I'm falling asleep. Kelly,
also
that's going to
relate to
happen
that.
all the time on Survivor. You relate to that?
I relate to that.
Oh, I wonder who does that to you. But I think I know the season's already been recorded. I'm not foolish enough to think it's live, but she definitely has a wake-up call. She thinks that's her pet peeve. She's going to have to get through that real quick.
Yeah.
That's going to be happening.
It's really hard to judge her because her answers are so smart, but each of her answers does have personality to it, I think. So she could definitely be someone, I think, who makes it far just based on she has a personality. She seems fun. She seems...
She is on the Vokai tribe. Forgot to mention that.
Vokai, yeah. She seems athletic. I think she could definitely make it merge.
Okay. I think the biggest thing, and this is going to determine how far I think she'll make it, she says she hates mayonnaise. And if she had to eat a tub of it to get to Final 3, she's not sure she could do it. She doesn't like whipped cream, vanilla frosting, or sour cream. Is it just me, or are those all foods that are all white? Mayo, whipped cream, vanilla frosting, and sour cream. What's wrong with a little whipped cream, vanilla frosting? That's good.
It's texture. It
Is
sounds
it
like
texture?
a texture thing. Yeah.
Mayo, sour cream, vanilla frosting.
They all have the same type of texture.
Vanilla frosting has the same texture as
It's close. It's very close.
I don't know,
Same
man.
as mayo.
I mean, she won't eat mayo to get to the Final
As long
Three.
as she eats rice.
What if they do a gross food challenges and she's like, well, at least this ain't mayo, and Jeff's like, actually.
I don't think that'll come up.
All right. Well, that does make me question what her determination is. It may be like, okay, well, now that I'm here on the island, it's a little different. If I had to eat a jar of mayo for
Are you saying
Jeff,
she's picky?
No, I'm just saying if you won't eat a tub of mayo to get to the Final 3.
Oh. Like,
Does-
how driven
Yeah,
are you?
like, is she just telling a joke? I don't think so. That's her
to me, it
profile
came
doesn't
across
read
as like a joke. I think she was trying to be funny, but
Are you sure? Because the rest of the profile doesn't read like she's telling a joke. Well, there's somebody later who I think's telling some jokes, but I don't read that from Kelly Kim here. She does say she's most like Kelly Wentworth. She's athletic and gets along with people. Kelly's not a real jokester either. Kelly's very intense.
we will see. All I know is that she used the word fun twice in her profile. So
Oh, did that make you love her?
no, I just think she could be a fun person and that she might joke.
So how far do you think Kelly Kim gets into? How far
I
do you
said
think she gets in the
post-merge.
game? Oh, you
Yeah,
already said that.
post-merge.
Okay. Yeah, I don't see anything red flags. I don't see any red flags that say she's going to go early. I think she makes merge. She could make final tribal. There's nothing that seemed to just stand out. Kelly Wentworth, good player to reference. Kelly Wentworth likes to play from the bottom a lot. I'm not sure if that's what she meant when she said she's going to be most like Kelly. Hopefully she doesn't have to play from the bottom. That's always a hard road to travel. Just ask Rick Devens. But I'll say she makes merge.
Definitely.
Okay. All right. The next player is Lauren Ashley Beck. She is on the Vokai tribe. She is 28 years old. She is from California, Glendale, California. That makes most sense. To me, it makes sense that we have a lot of people from California. That's 3 so far. But Rhode Island, I'll never forget. Rhode Island is 3.
Moving
If there's any
on.
more from Rhode Island, I'll be shocked. So Lauren Beck, Vokai tribe. What is your first impression?
I mean, she seems fun, but I don't know. Like, I did get kind of a red flag from her, and I think it was just, I guess, because her favorite hobby is just eating a bag of hot Cheetos while sitting on the couch.
So
She's like the epitome of the couch to survivor mentality of like, oh, I watch this all the time. I can do it. But there's a little more to it. than
okay.
that.
So funny enough, she does reference that she is one of the Survivor contestants she's most like is Suri. Suri in her first season, and then Jeff still talks about in her other seasons.
Yeah.
Suri's big claim to fame was she came off the couch to play this game.
Yeah.
In Exile Island. So I actually get really good vibes from Lauren Ashley Beck here. I actually see somebody who will go far. I
Really?
think she has a fun personality. Well, if you read her answers, her hobby's eating an entire bag of hot Cheetos. Immediately tells me she's a jokester. And that continues when she says, which Survivor contestant are you most like? And she picks Troyzan from One World and Game Changers because they're both hot.
I mean, Troyzan
Do
for
I
an
need to pull
old
up a picture
guy
of
is
Troyzan?
kind of, he's not bad looking for an old man.
He's okay. Mary, are you for real right now?
I mean, okay.
He's not bad looking for an old man.
He's not one of the best looking
Lauren Ashley Beck is a
sure.
28-year-old woman from California. Why is she referencing Troyzan? Because they're both equally hot.
So she seems a bit like a jokester. Okay.
Yeah, I think she has a good. I get a good energy reading from her. Not that I'm like into energies, but I get a good vibe reading from her answers. She's bubbly. She says she's bubbly, adaptable, and diligent. I believe the bubbly. I don't know about adaptable and diligent, of course, but definitely get the bubbly. She says her ability to connect with others is astronomical. I see that in these answers. And of course, but then again, it does come down to what age range. I think it's something that gets overlooked sometimes, is what age range of people are you connecting with?
Yeah.
Will she connect with the older players? Who knows? But that doesn't matter, because she's kind of in that perfect age range of a lot of the players, being between like 24 and 35.
Yeah.
Like, she's right in the middle. So I'm going to say candidate for Final Tribal. I may be getting a little too ahead of myself there, but I'm going to say I'm going to say if she was in the finale and makes Final Tribal, I would not be shocked. What do you think?
She definitely makes merge for sure. I don't know. Just because you have a fun personality doesn't mean you'll make it very far.
True, but I think a big part of the pre-merge and what makes you survive through that is just not annoying people and not throwing a challenge on purpose to get yourself voted out. Yeah. Yes, that is the episode of San Juan del Sur we just watched.
Yeah.
Don't throw the challenge to get yourself voted out. So Lauren Beck Ashley, I look forward to how she does. All right, so our next contestant is
Missy Bird.
Yeah, we'll just go with Missy Bird. Her first name is Tramese. And I'm not 100% sure how to announce it or say that, so I'm going to say Missy. What do you think of Missy? She's part of Laro, and she's 24 years old.
I mean, once again, there was just kind of really short answers, not much to glean from this. She's a vet. She's young, so she didn't do. She was only in for a few years, but that means she knows how to work hard. She's probably is good in the physical challenges. Sure. We'll see.
She's from Washington. Oh, I'm sorry. Her hometown's Georgia, but she lives in Washington State. Finally, somebody who's not in the same 4 states.
Yeah. There's just not much to tell here. She likes to read a good book and drink tea, and she likes Beyonce. So I don't know.
So she's not smiling in her picture, which I want to say so far is unusual. Most people are.
Yeah.
I think she's the only person who hasn't smiled so far in a picture. Karishma kind of has like a look to her, so she gets away with it. Missy's the only person so far I've looked at and thought, why isn't she smiling? She says the player she's most like is Kim Spradlin from One World, who was an excellent survivor.
She was really good. I do remember her. Yeah, I will say that her picture did kind of. I opened it up, saw her picture, saw Air Force vet, and I was like, okay, this girl's gonna be like hardcore. Yeah. She's got a lot to say about how she's gonna get it done. Sure. And there just really wasn't much there. So maybe she's just playing it, under the radar, or.
So I was in the Navy.
Yes, I remember that.
Well, I know you know that, but they don't know that. So I was in the Navy for 7 years, and the Air Force is not really as hardcore as people want to believe.
Sure. I
don't know what she did in the Air Force, to be fair, but Air Force is called the Chair Force for a reason. That's not a factual thing. It's just a joke that's made. So I'm not going to look too heavily into the Air Force thing unless she takes it seriously. If she takes the Air Force thing seriously, I could see how that would affect her interactions with people. But hopefully, she's a veteran. That means she got out after one enlistment. So she wasn't in for her life. People who are in the military for a while and then get out and are older. Typically, it really affects how they are and who they are and how they play. But she wasn't really in long enough to.
No, yeah, and that's what I said. It was just first glance picture vet, sure. And then I'm like, okay, this girl is hardcore, right? And then as I'm reading through, it's like her pet peeve is annoying human beings. Isn't that everyone's pet peeve? Can you be more specific here about that?
Yeah, what about human beings annoys you? Is it all human beings or just
the annoying ones?
Yeah, who are the annoying ones?
Right.
Is it us right now?
So it's safe to say that Missy is going to be a very private player, which is never good, I don't think, when you try to keep to yourself. But hey, I mean, if she wants to be like Kim, We'll see.
But Survivor, if you've been paying attention, of course, a lot of people who are probably listening to this have been. They like to pick people who remind you of players from other seasons.
Mm-hmm.
She immediately reminds me of Michaela. I want to say Bradshaw. I'm double checking right now. She reminds me of Michaela Bradshaw, yes, from Millennials versus Gen X and Game Changers.
Mm-hmm.
Though in her picture, she's smiling. Not to like really get too far to that. But
Michaela
Michaela had like.
She did have hardcore. I mean, I felt like she always went for it. She was, and I don't think she was that like private. Maybe she was.
Michaela had like the attitude going on, and I'm hoping Missy avoids that because right now I'm getting a vibe of gonna have some attitude.
Gonna have some attitude.
Maybe like especially with annoying human beings comment and just
sure.
Not to get too much in the not smiling, but the not smiling and you're like this is like your picture for Survivor. It puts out what are you trying to say. So it's not like they tell you not to smile.
Yeah.
They're like, So I think if you've gathered from my comments so far, I don't think she's. I want to say she's pre-merge. Though Michaela went pre-merge in Millennials versus Gen X, and then made the merge in Game Changers. So, how far do you think she'll make?
Pre-merge, yeah.
I say pre-merge as well. Okay. So the next contestant is Molly Byman, 28 years old. I think they have a favorite number here. 28 years old. She's from North Carolina, and she is part of the Vokai tribe. Any first impressions you get from her?
I like that she. It made me laugh when she said she balls out for delicious meals. She's definitely an athlete. You can tell she works out a lot, but I just thought that was funny. First impressions. She is one that had more to say. I will say that. She was more forthcoming in her answers. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't necessarily say I connected with her on a lot of areas, but she seems. I don't know. I think she could make it pretty far. She seems to be understand relationships and how that's important on the show.
You know what? Very important. Missy Bird. I know she's on Lara, but let's say she subverts our expectations and makes the merge, or she gets tribe swapped with our girl here, with Molly. Let's say she gets with Molly. Very important. Molly points out in her profile that she is smart, strong, and not annoying. Instant friendship, right? Molly has identified herself. She's like, in case there's somebody on the island who hates annoying people, I am not annoying. That's actually why I'll survive Survivor. I think the question's better suited. That answer's better suited for why do you think you'll survive, Missy? I'm not annoying. So reading through like what Survivor contestants are you most like, she does some typical stuff. She says Parvati. While Parvati is a classic player, Parvati gets referenced almost every season in bios. She also relates to Wendell Holland from Ghost Island. I'm pretty sure that was a season because I don't think if they shot this in March, they would have just finished David vs. Goliath, maybe watched a few episodes of Edge of Extinction. So Ghost Island was really recent for them then. Nothing there really stands out. However, she references that she's wanted to compete on Survivor since she watched Elizabeth, now Hasselback, jump off that cliff in Australian Outback. We're talking season 2. She's a long time watcher. Yeah. So 28 years old. She's been watching. She was like 10, 11 years old. So that's always a good sign when somebody's been watching the show for a while. It means they just having that. I think having many years of Survivor, not necessarily because you can watch all the seasons at once. Sure, in like a year, that'd be a rush, but you could. But I think just like having that time to, if you watch over the years, like it more marinates is the word. Her accomplishment. She's most proud of teaching middle school for 5 years.
That is an accomplishment.
Yep. That means she's been doing it since she was 23. So right out of college, basically, she got a job as a middle school teacher. Middle schoolers, as you may not know, are notorious for
being emotional.
Sure, but I was gonna say middle schoolers are not the easiest to get along with and tell what to do. So
another teacher.
Yeah. Mary does.
Although now she's a law student, so I think she has potential. I think she seems smart. She seems fun. She definitely makes it pre-merge, maybe final.
Well, you're saying she makes it to the merge.
Definitely post-merge. Sorry, I said pre-merge. Okay. Definitely post-merge.
So you're saying she is a potential candidate for final tribal. I'm going to say she makes it to the merge as well. I don't know about final tribal. I can't say that, but I think she makes the merge.
So hard to tell, but yeah.
Yeah, of course. Okay, so our next castaway is, can you say this name for me?
Nora Salman.
Nora Salman. You're so much better at this than I am. She's 36 years old from Maryland, still in the Northeast for the most part. But another state. I wish Survivor would pull one person from each state. That would be a 50-player season. That would be insane. Let's not do that. But she's part of the Vokai tribe. Any first impressions you get from her?
Honestly, I didn't remember anything about her except that she's never, ever, ever had alcohol, drugs, or smoked, which is great.
Yeah, well, physically, that will be good. She doesn't have to deal with that. Yeah, we read these profiles before we got on the air here and talked about them. So Mary not remembering her is not good because she just read it maybe a couple hours ago. She does say she's most like Malcolm. I always, as you've heard so far, I like when people reference people from seasons that are not recent.
And I did really like Malcolm. So if she's anything like him, then...
Yeah, if she's like Malcolm from like the first 2 seasons, not from Game Changers.
Yeah.
JT really screwed him in Game Changers. But yeah, so but she wants to be underestimated like Fabio. I don't think anyone could ever pull off a Fabio game again. I think that was a once in a lifetime game. I really don't think Fabio can be replicated. But she does. Let's see here. Why do you think you'll survive Survivor? I'm multi-dimensional, not just one thing or person. I'm the nerd, jock, and model with brains, brawn, and beauty. I don't get a nerd vibe from her, but she didn't smoke, drink, do drugs, or anything. I mean, how many drugs have you done today?
I've never done drugs either.
Wow, what a nerd.
Yeah.
Oh, brother. So not much to say really about her. I agree with you. Nothing really stood out. She does seem like she's a health nut. Which I guess is a good thing going into Survivor. Means
it can't hurt.
Yeah, it can't. I mean, can't. Unless you go with not enough body fat, and then you're starving.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
You gotta have some little dad fat, little dad bod fat, a little mom bod
then
fat.
you're good.
Oh, thanks. Kindness is
I'm
overwhelming
good to
right
go
now. So how far do you think she makes it?
I really don't get much from her, so I'm gonna say pre-merge.
I'm gonna say she makes it to the merge. I think she comes across as kind of forgettable right now. That could, of course, completely change in the show.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say she makes it to the merge. I'm not like gonna put my foot down and say that's for sure though. I'm not.
Yeah.
That's probably the person I'm the most questionable on. Okay, so the next contestant is Ronnie Barda. He is on the Laro tribe. He's 35 years old from Nevada. Heyo, and not Las Vegas. I didn't even know there was any other season in Nevada besides Las Vegas.
There are a few, but he is a poker player, so I'm sure he's there.
So he's probably right outside. It says Henderson, Nevada. Let's Google that one real quick. What impressions do you get from Ronnie?
I liked him. I think honestly, being a poker player probably is going to be helpful. I know there have been other poker players on the show that never did great. Yeah, it's right outside Vegas.
Yeah, we just looked it up. It's we didn't know, but Henderson is like. You could spit into Las Vegas from your house if you lived in Henderson. So he basically lives in Las Vegas.
But I think it could be an asset for him. And I just liked his profile. I thought it was pretty straightforward. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. Nothing like outrageous that just stood out to be really great. But he has done a lot of traveling, which can be challenging. I know this is not like a traveling show, but you're going without sleep, you're going without a lot of the food you normally eat. He seems very strong. Mm-hmm. I think he could have if he has a good social game, I think he could be someone to watch out for.
So from what I recall so far, poker players haven't really fared well in Survivor. They typically actually have the most trouble with social games.
And I have noticed that. Yeah, I've noticed that their social game isn't great. But if you can combine the lying not necessarily lying, but the lack of telling, of giving other people information, because that's a huge downfall in Survivor is when you give too much information. If you can combine keeping the information that you need to keep and giving out the information you give out with a good social game, you could be really dangerous. I haven't seen it done yet, but maybe he's the one to do it. I don't know.
We shall see. Nothing really stood out to me. He does say that one of the Survivor contestants he wants to be most like is Boston Rob. That's 2 people so far who've said Boston Rob. Mm-hmm. Nobody said Sandra. People are going to show up down and be like, oh yeah, Sandra, you were a player.
I think people like Sandra, but no, I don't know if anyone wants to be Sandra.
Nobody wants to just like be under the radar and at the end of the game go, Queen, stay queen. Queen, stay queen.
Yeah. I don't know.
I mean, I would. That's the biggest question. Would you like to be a memorable player, or would you like to win twice and say queen, stay queen?
I would like to just win twice. I mean,
Say
who
queen,
cares?
stay queen. Queen, stay queen. He does kind of have a generic answer for why he thinks he'll survive Survivor. He says, because of the life I have already survived, it was a crazy rough neighborhood I grew up in, but I made it out and even traveled to 30 countries since then. I am also a beast at physical challenges. I have a very strong social game, and thanks to my poker skills, I'll be able to read people well and blindside the blindsiders. Blah, 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 blah. This sounds very much like, I don't know.
Yeah.
If a robot had
generic.
generated this answer, I
Yeah.
would have believed it. That's all I want to say. Robot, make an answer for a pro poker player. I grew up in a rough neighborhood. I've now been to 30 countries because I play poker, and I think I can blindside people. Anyways, he says he'll be able to break hearts. Do you think he's going to get in a showmance?
No.
I don't remember the last time he's really been a showmance in Survivor. So how far do you think he makes it in the game?
I'm going to say merge. Definitely merge.
Merge. Man. You know what? I'm going to say pre-merge, but I'm really going on what's happened with previous poker players with that. Otherwise, I would say he makes merge. So he may be on. For me, he's on the fence between pre-merge and merge.
You got to pick one. Choose a side.
What? So our next player is Tom. I want to say Laidlaw.
Yeah, Laidlaw.
He is the first Canadian in American Survivor.
I knew he was Canadian.
Well, it really helps that his hometown is in Canada.
But now he lives in Connecticut. So no, just like looking at his face.
He's a former
Shouldn't say
NHL
that.
player. He's from Canada. He's the first survivor that I have. I'm 99% positive he's the first survivor from Canada. This season, they started accepting Canadian applicants. And, of course, that doesn't apply to Season 40. So, for at least the next year, we won't see any other Canadian players. So, anything stand out about this former NHL player? He is 61 years old, part of the Laro tribe. Don't know if I mentioned that.
He's a very muscular 61-year-old. I'll say that.
He does not look like he's a former NHL player. He looks like he maybe.
Is it a current NHL
No,
player?
I wouldn't say that.
No.
He's 60 years old.
Yeah.
But his answers are short, kind of like Jan and Carvin.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just like a generational thing,
Yeah.
giving short answers. Like, don't say more than you have to. Like, what's one thing we wouldn't know from seeing a photo of you? I don't like heights.
So
Thanks, Tom.
even though his answers are short, they
Yeah.
are telling. They're not just short and
Yeah.
non-conclusive. He doesn't like heights. He likes being the Marine. He's in the NHL. His desire to win or motivation for winning is not great. But
Yeah.
as far as Janet goes, hers were short and not telling, I feel like. But
Yeah. I mean, he says he's stubborn. He's
Sure,
raising
that's-
2 sons. I don't know. I don't really get anything. The only thing that stands out is he is from Canada. He's older. And he's, of course, is a former NHL player. It's almost like a bit of stunt casting. Like, he's a former NHL player. He's from Canada. That's 2 things. It doesn't really matter, the rest of it.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think he makes it far. I think he's one of the first.
Yeah, I just don't see it. It doesn't really. I mean, he references Ben from season 35. He says, which Survivor contestant are you most like? Ben the Marine. He did whatever he had to. What does that mean, Tom? It's not very specific, Tom. Help me out here. So, I'm going to say he's pre-merge. Now, I don't know how many people I've said are pre-merge so far. We're not keeping a tally here. So, obviously, sometimes we might say more people are pre-merge than are actually going to be pre-merge, of course. That's just how far I think he'll get. If he makes it to the merge, I'm not going to be shocked. But I just don't see any. I don't see real winner potential with him. Though we haven't really clarified people we see real winner potential. I think the only person I've really been not in love with, but really liking is Lauren Beck.
That's who you liked. I didn't say she made the merge.
I said me, yeah. Then we get to our next contestant, though, Tommy Sheehan. I'm a straight man, but can I say this dude's a stud muffin? Would you agree with that?
I would agree with that.
Oh, okay. So Tommy Sheehan is 26. He is also from New York because you can never get enough people from New York. 4th grade teacher. That stood out.
Another teacher.
Wow, dude, he is ripped for a 4th. Like, I don't think I've ever had any teachers this in shape. He looks like he was born to play Survivor in terms of physical competition.
I mean, there's been plenty of people who have been as in shape as he is.
Yeah, he's part of the Vokai tribe. I feel like I glossed over that. Didn't know if I mentioned that. Of course, the first thing he references is that he's physical and can win challenges for. Oh, but he does say that, but that won't win Survivor. Mm-hmm. Well, that's good. I'm glad he's watched the season.
His profile stood out to me. He seems really fun. He seems like he's got a good personality. He seems hardworking, and again, he's a teacher, so he can handle lots of different personalities. Well, children are different, but anyways, he can manage people to an extent. I don't know. I liked him. I liked his profile. I thought he has a really good chance.
Is it now? You may think as a fourth grade teacher, he's probably a bit humble, like. But then he says, "What's one thing you wouldn't know from seeing a photo of you? I have the biggest heart. I am the most humble person." He doesn't say that second part, but he does say he has the biggest heart. He loves people and will do anything to help them, especially kids. Unfortunately for Tommy, there are no children on the island. No one under 18 can be there. And in fact, I think the youngest person we've mentioned is 24 so far, from what I recall. So unfortunately, that's not going to be a big help. But I think being a fourth grade teacher does give him patience. Patience is always important when you're on the island with stubborn people and people who hate annoying people. But then again, there are some people who clarify they're not annoying. So it's very important to know that. Mary rolled her eyes. In players that he compares himself to, he mentions David Wright. For Millennials Gen X, and I don't think he watched Edge of Extinction, or if he did, it was only the beginning, so he doesn't really know how he did in that season. But he does reference Davey from David vs. Goliath so far, all recent seasons. However, he says a pinch of Amanda Kimball being from early seasons, China, Micronesia, Heroes vs. Villains. So it's not all the time you see men saying I play a bit like a female player, especially from early seasons.
Yeah.
So Amanda did get to. She did get second twice. She did. Hopefully, he doesn't. Hopefully, he just says Amanda Kimball's likability. He doesn't say her final tribal council game. I know you have not seen those seasons, Mary. You've seen Heroes vs. Villains, but you haven't seen China Micronesia. Amanda gets to the final two, and subsequently blows it in the final travel both times. So always fun. Legendary player who blows it. So yeah, how far do you think Tommy Sheehan makes it?
I'm going to say he makes final travel.
Really? Mm-hmm. Wow. Okay. I think he's a strong merge candidate. For sure, I don't see him going out early, but I think in recent seasons of Survivors, we've seen people honing in on, oh man, who's going to make final travel and win this game?
Yeah.
So now if this was an earlier season Survivor, he would get by very far on just being a stronger dude. But we'll see. I say he makes merge, final tribal. You say I'm not anti that. He does immediately come across. He just has, I don't know. His picture comes across very much likable. Is the word, I guess, for basic terms. Okay, and we get to our last contestant here, Vince. How do you say his last name? Moua. Moa. Man, we're butchering. I am so sorry if anyone's mad at us about the names. He's the last player we have here. He's on the Laro tribe, and he is from California. Is that 5 players from California?
I don't know. I lost count.
We didn't get any from a lot of states, obviously, but usually you see we got 1 from Texas. We got 5 from California. We had 3 from Rhode Island. This is the Rhode Island season. Never forget. Any first impressions you get from him? He's 27 years old.
I feel like I'm going to love Vince.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Uh-oh.
He just seems like a really sweet, really likable, really fun personality. He's kind of goofy. He can make fun of himself. I think my favorite was that he bought his mom a fridge. I don't know. That was his proudest accomplishment was that he bought his mom a fridge. It was just super cute.
Yeah, it comes across So he is, not that I think this really matters, but he is Asian American, and he is also LGBT. It's all mentioned here in the Survivor Wiki. But he does, so I say that because there are, of course, stereotypes that go along with that. But he doesn't come across, I don't know. His profile is the longest.
Yes.
I might cut that out. His profile is the longest, and it gives you a lot of insight into him. So, of course, you're immediately and he's not just rambling.
No.
So it immediately comes across really good because he talks about how his father comes from a country I cannot pronounce, so I'm not going to try. He says he's his hero. The reason I mentioned Asian American is because clearly it was unlike, I know we had a player earlier who said, Karishma said her family came over in the 70s. Him being 27, his father may have come around. the same-ish time. But he said at 16 years old, his father and his two cousins ran from the mountain of Laos. Is that Laos? Laos?
Mountains of Laos. Yeah.
Anyways, it's a very interesting story. So it sounds like he also is second-generation American. I'm sorry. Maybe is that first-generation American if you're born here?
It's first generation American.
Okay. Well, anyways, point being is, I'm getting too much into that, but he does come across likable. He does have a lot to answer in his questions, which is always very helpful when we're doing something like this. He does reference players. He does reference Sheehan from Thailand, out of all seasons, who's also on All Stars. He does reference Suri Fields and Natalie Anderson. So he picked some good players there. Sheehan's not really a great player, but she was an All-Star, so you can't knock her too much. I really don't have a lot to say, but I do say that he comes across as likable. Maybe it's because we're at the end of the podcast.
No, I remember I specifically went back and reread some of the stuff in his profile because I really liked him. I feel like he'll be one of the players that he's going to be open and honest and let everyone know who he is, and people are going to like him. He's going to be trusted.
Sure.
He'll make it pretty far. I don't know.
Yeah.
He won't make. I don't think he'll make final, but he'll definitely post merge.
I do notice that he says his pet peeves are when people are flaky and do not follow through with their promises.
That could be a problem.
Sure. I was gonna say I actually relate to that, but now that you say that, I feel like you're probably right. Because people will promise him things and then not go through with them in this game. So hopefully it doesn't affect him too much. 3 words to describe you: shamelessly me, quick-witted, and not afraid to flip tables. Can we say he is Jesus confirmed?
No.
No? Okay.
I did like the not afraid to flip tables.
Yeah, not afraid to flip tables. All right, so that's all the contestants we have. I did want to address one last thing before we close the podcast. A lot of people on Facebook, so Mary, you're not too keenly aware. On Reddit is where you get a lot of the hardcore followers of Survivor.
Sure.
Facebook's these are the general consensus, just considered more casual audience, even though they're in Survivor fan groups, which sounds hardcore. A lot of people complaining that this season has returning players, and they're tired of seeing returning players. What do you agree with them? Are you tired of? I know we mentioned Boss Rob and Sandra earlier, but do you view the season as all new, or would you view it as a returning player season?
I can see the point as far as we're kind of idolizing Island of the Idols.
It's true.
Idolizing the returning players, and it does kind of overshadow the new people and the fact that this season's more about Rob and Sandra than about them. So I can see their point, but at the same time, Rob and Sandra aren't playing, so everyone has a fair chance. So it's not the same as when we've had returning players.
Yeah, like Edge of Extinction, where we had 4 returning players.
Yeah.
It's just the complaints more came across like, I only want to see new players playing. So if the complaint is about, sure, the edit, because the Boss and Rob and Sandra can't go anywhere, they're gonna be there every episode. I understand that complaint. I totally do. And that luckily the opening the premiere is an hour and a half, which is good. I don't like when they have a shorter premiere, but 60-minute episodes, really 43 after ads and commercials and whatnot, gives only so much time. So I can understand the edit issue. However, it seemed like there was a lot of complaints in terms of, oh man, why are they having them return to play when like I could be playing, or they're getting in the way of other people playing, when that's not really the case. As if people have gotten this far, there's 20 new players in this game.
Yeah, I mean, if people aren't paying attention to the ad where it clearly shows that they're not players, they're mentors.
There's actually been a lot of confusion about, maybe Survivor hasn't been clear enough in their advertising, but no, it's there's definitely people complaining that they think they're playing. It's just too much time out of your life to go through and tell them, no, they're actually just coaches. But my point really is that we've only had, and it's just a lot of complaining about returning players, but through seasons 35 through 39, so post Game Changers, we've had 4 returning players and 5 seasons, and that's out of 98 players. And it's a little bit over 4%. And I just think the complaints are unfounded. If we're complaining about how many people are new, if we're complaining about how much of the edit has gone to these returning players, I get it. I do. Yeah. We had 35, 36, 37, all new players. 38 had 4 returning, and none of them even made it to Final Tribal. And now we have Rob and Sandra. They're not even...
Yeah, returning players usually. I think it's returning players usually don't make it very far. People are frustrated because they've already played. And
Actually, it's usually the opposite. They usually make it very far. Returning players usually make it to the end in mixed seasons.
Okay.
Not to undercut you, I'm sorry. With the exception of Edge of Extinction, they didn't get very far, sure.
That was my most recent.
Yeah, I understand. And we haven't had a mixed player season, top of my head, since Blood versus Water. And Blood versus Water, returning players filled the final tribal and won. And then before that, you had South Pacific. Coach got second. You had Redemption Island. Boston Rob won. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah. And then, of course, all returning seasons, you don't have an option. So it's just the perception is that mixed seasons, returning players get advantage. Karamoan, season 26, Cochran won. He was a returning player.
I will say in the future, I don't really want to see returning players unless it's something like this, like a mentor. I agree. I think it's not really fair. Other people should have a chance to play.
Are you saying you don't want to see returning players, period, or just returning players in a season with new people? Because let me tell you, I have a twist for you for season 40.
I know about season 40. I think that's interesting. Season 40 is interesting. We can get to that later.
Yeah, we'll save that for a separate podcast. In case people don't know, spoiler alert, season 40 is all winners. It's going to be fun. That's the rumor on the street. It's not confirmed by CBS or anything. But yeah. Okay, so that is all we have. We only went for an hour and a half. Disappointing for our first podcast. I was hoping to go at least 3.5 hours, but we'll have to settle. So do you have any final thoughts, Mary, before we go?
No, it should be an interesting season.
Yeah. Are you going to be watching the premiere?
Of course. Are you?
I was planning on skipping it, actually.
Oh, okay.
No, of course I'm going to watch the premiere.
Maybe we could watch it together.
Maybe we can watch it together. Yeah, maybe. All right. So thank you, everyone, for listening. If you're listening, of course, it means you're a part of the Patreon, and we thank you. It's very helpful to the channel, to me, to make great content, and Patreon really helps make that happen. So we want to thank you for being a part of Patreon.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you. And of course, if no one's listening, it's gonna sound embarrassing. Like, thank you for being a part of Patreon. Nobody's listening.
Hey, if no one's listening, no one cares.
That's true. If if a podcast happens and no one's listening, did it really happen? Like the tree in the forest.
Yeah, I know.
I think we're getting tired. Okay, we'll close out. All right, thanks everybody.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Yep, bye.